Well, thank you for that nice round of applause. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Metaphysical Mocha Mondays with Marc, your host, the Intuitive Prospector. Let me know if you can hear me okay. I am broadcasting in a remote location here. I'm in Inner Alchemy here in West Seattle. So just going to give it a second for you to share out if you don't mind. And today we're going to be talking about a very cool topic about time and doing nothing and having purpose with time. So let me just pull up my computer here so I can see who's all on board here this morning. And let's just take a nice deep breath in. Let's move into the magic of the moment. I've got some cool props here with me today. So Lyra says, you're looking younger. Well, thanks. It must be the hair. Okay, sounds great. Okay, good. Thanks for giving me that feedback. And so I'm here at Inner Alchemy. It's just down from my studio. It's a place where I do my dems. I do some work from time to time. And we're here in the community room. So there's a big giant gong behind me, my sign, Inner Alchemy. So just take a deep breath. Let's move into the magic of the moment. Got some cool props here today. Put a nice big smile on your face. Let's move into the magic of the moment. Grab your coffee. I'm drinking from one of my favorite coffee shops here locally called Bird on a Wire. So grab your coffee, grab your tea, grab your protein shake, and let's do a little spiritual prospecting for your own spiritual goal. Today I have with me a very cool tool that we use in meditation. It simulates a waterfall. So this is what it looks like. And a lot of Native American traditions behind this. So if you just kind of let it flow. Hopefully you guys can hear that on the video. So just kind of help get in the magic of the moment. And let me just pull up my website here real quick. So bear with me, guys. I am remote today. Let me know also, this is kind of a test for today, as my shirt is coming unbuttoned. So trying to do all the setup. So let me know if the sound quality is good. Let me know if the pixelation of the video is good. That really helps me understand if I can do these shows remotely from Inner Alchemy here. So this is our second test. Shout out to Marc, who is the owner of Inner Alchemy. She worked really hard to get the Wi-Fi network updated so we could try to do live shows, Metaphysical Mocha Mondays from here. So this morning, just wanted to talk to you about a few things that kind of came to me from my meditations. And then at 8:30, guys, make sure to stick around for the Prospecting Q&A after show, where it's spiritual chats, free readings. We might do a little psychic, a little bit of healing, a little bit of mediumship, a little bit of metaphysical speak. You just never know with the Prospecting Q&A after show. But this morning, I wanted to talk about time without purpose. And it's something that kind of came to me through my meditations this week. So I've been on an official staycation. So my wife and I, Jenny, decided we've been on the go for the last 6 months, and it's now in July. And we decided that we were not going to travel anywhere because we're always traveling, and I have much more traveling coming up in the months ahead. So we said, why don't we just stay home and do a staycation? And that got me thinking, boy, we always have a purpose with time. And I always say, you guys always hear me say, carpe diem the crap out of today, right? Seize the day. But sometimes seizing the day means doing nothing at all. So today's topic, today's inspirational message for the week ahead is to have time without purpose, because our greatest commodity, guys, why we're here, is our time. What we do with our time, how much time we have left. Unfortunately, I just woke up this morning and I saw a friend's father had passed into the spirit world. You just never know what the day's going to bring. And as a retired firefighter, as a retired coastie, I was always called to other people's tragedies, so I've seen firsthand that you don't know what the day is going to bring, and our greatest commodity is time. So what are you doing with your time today? What are you going to do with your time this week? We always have this mind focus that we always have to have purpose in what we do. And there's a lot of truth to that in the spiritual path, but also take some time to have no purpose and just do a staycation. Vacations, you hear a lot of people say a lot of times, oh, I need a vacation from my vacation. When I hear people say that, it doesn't sound like a very fun and relaxing vacation, because the point of vacation is to rest, reflect, rejuvenate, revitalize, remember, it's all about just moving into a place where the time that you have, you can just sit and do nothing. So it's something that somebody needed to hear today because it came through in my meditations. And before every show, I meditate this morning, and I usually kind of get a topic of what my show is going to be about. And this morning, it's really about time without purpose. Taking the time to disconnect so that you can have the time to reconnect. I always find that to be very, very important. So I'm streaming live here at Inner Alchemy. I'm in West Seattle, Seattle, Washington, which is about, for those of you who don't know the Seattle area, it's about 15 minutes west of downtown Seattle, Washington. So if you've ever been to downtown Seattle, Washington. And I'm here in the community room where we do a lot of amazing work. I'm just one of many practitioners that work here. You can see that there's a big giant gong behind me for some sound baths, and I've done a couple DEMs here. We've done a couple workshops here. It's called Inner Alchemy. It's right on 35th if you know the West Seattle area. They've got a retail store. They've got community. They got the community room here, and then they have reading rooms. So they offer a lot of different modalities. So check them out if you haven't. They offer Reiki. I know there's Kundalini Yoga. There's shamanic healing. There's free readings or psychic readings like myself. There's mediumship like myself that I offer. Right now there's art. There's art walks every month. So there's actually art hanging all around me. I took it down just to be mindful of the artist's work. Because I don't want to show off their work without their permission. But this is the community room, and there's a lot of energy, and we do a lot of good healing work in here. So if you guys would do me a favor, because I am working remotely, if you don't mind sharing out the page to somebody that might need to hear today's message, share out to a page where people might be inspired or inspire others. I always like to say, be inspired before we expire. And this morning I'm talking about time without purpose. And what I mean by that is take a staycation, stay at home and do nothing. That's something that we just did. We took a whole week off, and by the end we were ready to get back to it. But it was nice because we did feel rested. We did feel rejuvenated. Gave me a lot of time to reflect on certain things. And sometimes that's important. Sometimes you just need that staycation. So we called it Staycation 2019. And it was really our time to not do anything without having any purpose. Like I of course worked and got some events up and out and had some meetings and stuff, but not like I normally do. So it was nice to just take some time and do nothing and just be around my house and enjoy what we've worked hard for, the yard. I'm not too happy about my bamboo that I have to keep cutting down. That thing grows like a weed for any of you that have bamboo. But as far as, we're always just on the go, always on the go. And I watched a lot of documentaries on my Staycation 2019 and really just, just thought about, gosh, what is my purpose for this week? We always have to be going. That mind, that monkey mind, if you will, where we always have to be on the go. And we don't always have to be on the go. So let me... I was going to share a couple things with you guys this morning, and then at 8:30, so in about 15 minutes, we'll move over to the Prospecting Q&A after show. That's where I have a direct conversation with you. We can bring you live on video, free readings, free chats. Usually I get a lot of spiritual prospectors that tune in Monday mornings to hang out to get their free card reading, just a message for the head, just inspiration, awareness. You just never know. And I'll give you a crystal for the week, and I'll also give you a totem animal spirit for the week. But as far as, you always hear about the danger of living without purpose. Now, I'm not saying, it's always important to have purpose and a plan and passion for life. That's not what I'm saying. But sometimes we lose our purpose, and sometimes we need to go on a journey, if you will. We need to go on the Native Americans called it a spirit quest. Some called it going out into nature and just finding yourself. For me, spiritualism, people ask me a lot of times, are you religious or are you spiritual? I'm not religious anymore. I was raised Catholic, but I don't follow that path anymore. I don't follow that religion. And I don't really follow any religion. For me, the spiritual path is really about following the message. For me, religion is usually listening to the messenger told by somebody else in a land far away from thousands of years ago. For me, it's really about surrendering my ego, being vulnerable, following the universal spiritual path of energy, frequency, vibration, metaphysics, and following the message that comes to me in the moment, in that path, in that time. So this morning's message is just a reminder to have some time without purpose. You don't always have to constantly be going, be on the hamster wheel of life, if you will. Sometimes it's nice just to jump off that hamster wheel and just rest and reflect and read and write and meditate or garden or lay by the ocean or whatever is right for you. And one of the quotes that I was going to give you, if I can find it here, give me a second here. Don't know if I can actually find the quote. So I was having a little bit of Wi-Fi issues, but there's something that I talk about called the power of play. And in spiritualism, we are focused on being in the moment because there is no guarantees for the future and you can't do anything about the past. And the power of play, it's a pleasure activity engaged for its own sake. So it's literally, today's message is time without purpose and just moving into the gratitude of what you have in your current path today. So for example, let's just do an example. This coffee, I'm going to take a drink of the coffee, really taste the flavors, kind of quiet my mind a little bit, because again, we're always going, and we just do this out of creatures of habit. We taste our coffee. But when I set my intent to really move into connecting to the coffee, connecting to my surroundings, they're enhanced. The flavors more. The flavors tend to be more flavorful. It tends to be, just more connected. And when you focus your mind on the distractions that are all around, the outside world, so you see the cars passing by, there's the bus right there on 35th, we get distracted and we miss a lot of the small things that happen in our journey. And Eckhart Tolle teaches us that the greatest agent for change is your awareness. And so I'm aware of today's coffee, probably more than something I haven't really talked about. I've been doing this show for a couple seasons now, but just having the power of play. And I remind this people when I'm doing readings, or I'm doing workshops or lectures like today, the power of play is literally a pleasurable activity engaged for its own sake. Time spent without purpose, right? You don't want it to end, lose some sense of self, less inhibited. And so the power of play is something that I try to remind myself that I don't always have to have a purpose to do everything day in and day out. Even though I'm going to carpe diem the crap out of today, I'm going to seize the day. Sometimes seizing the day is not doing anything at all. So it's kind of a backwards philosophy, and it's we've been socially conditioned to go. But there's also a quote that talks about the greatest tragedy in life is not death, but a life without purpose. And sometimes you have to make some time to have no purpose, so you can just kind of move into a space where your creativity can flow. Maybe you've been thinking about doing a new job or changing relationships or taking a trip, and sometimes doing nothing at all can really benefit you for the direction that you want to go. I always remind people, if you sit still, the journey unfolds. Rumi, a 12th century mystic, talked about all the time, the more silent and still you become, the more you actually hear. So if you take the time to disconnect so that you can make time and create a space to reconnect to yourself, to your higher self, to the world around you, it can really open up that life path, that purpose for what you've been wanting to do. And so we did that this week. We took a full week, almost a full week, I guess, because we've been traveling, and we did Staycation 2019. And it's been kind of nice. And so I'm just kind of being vulnerable with you today, just sharing with you that you don't always have to be on the go, that it's okay to make time to have no purpose at all, that you can just sit in the moment of where you're at and just enjoy the little things that are around you. The plant behind me, the gong, even this cool looking lamp. There's a little Buddha in the corner. I should have pulled him out so you could see him kind of peeking behind the corner there. And so that's important to have purpose and have passion and have a plan for your life, but also just remember times, especially if times are very stressful. If you've lost a loved one, the job is just very demanding. That's a good time to really reflect and take your time, your greatest commodity, to have no purpose and just sit and be in your surroundings, wherever your Zen place is. For me, it's my home, it's my hot tub, it's out in the garden, it's my front, just hanging out in the yard with all the flowers and life. And sometimes that's what's needed, guys, to refresh and to, just like, computer, let's talk technology. You want to refresh your browser because there's so much going on. Sometimes you got to literally shut down your phone, your computer, and reboot. And it's the same thing for the many pathways of life, the human condition, the human experience, that it can be very overwhelming for all of us. And sometimes we do need to just take that second to reboot, turn everything off, and make our personal time to have no purpose, and say, today I'm not going to have any purpose. I'm not going to worry about my job. I'm not going to worry about my relationship. I'm just going to focus in on me and what my journey is. Because at the end of the day, guys, you come into this world alone, so shall you return. Your life is 100% your responsibility. Whether you believe in God or whether you don't believe in God, I leave that up to you. But so far in my 47 years, I haven't seen anybody come to rescue me through all of my traumas and tragedies and transformations. And it's just a reminder that we have to do a lot for ourselves. Now, that doesn't mean that you're not supported, because you are. You're supported from the God within, whatever your belief system is. You're guided by those that have passed on before us into the spirit world, whether it's a family member, a friend, a coworker, a fur baby, and they're what I call your spiritual entourage to help you, guide you, but they're not going to give you the answers, because your free will and choice is your greatest power while you're here. And if you have somebody else making choices for you, then it's really not, it's not free living. It's more of a dictatorship. So you do have assistance around you. So I don't want you to feel like you're alone. Sometimes in the spiritual path we do feel alone. But there are a lot of things around you that are happening right now. And if you just take the time to have time with no purpose, these things that are unseen, unfelt, unheard, they start to open up to you, and they start to become aware of your reality. They come into your reality, really, is what I'm saying. But as far as the spiritual path, again, finding the magic in the moment, today is all you have. So carpe diem the crap out of it. And really just, have some time today or this week or sometime during the summer, just to have some time without purpose. Sit in the water and just float, just like you're a little kid. Think about when you go back to when you were a little kid. Think of the things that you did. For me, I played outside all the time because we didn't have technology like we have today. And we played till the sun went down. But we didn't really, in our minds as children, we didn't have like, we need to do this, we need to do this, we need to get this done. And our mind is always on something else, versus we were always, a lot of times, for a lot of us, we were in the moment. We were celebrating, we were playing sports, we were playing hide and go seek, we were playing capture the flag. We were in the moment. And so today's inspirational message is to remind you to find the magic in the moment, to have some time without purpose, because time doesn't always have to have purpose, but doing that hopefully will unfold and open up to you more passions that you want, more purposes that you want, a plan to accomplish those in your life's journey. And so today, my show's never scripted or planned. It's right, the morning of the meditation. And so this morning I needed to share this with somebody that needed to hear this, that time without purpose is okay. And you'll get back to your purpose. You'll get back to the daily grind, just like I took the week off. I'm back at it. I've got meetings for the rest of the day. We have the Prospecting Q&A after show starting here in about 5 minutes or so, where I'll be doing readings for about an hour. And then I've got, I'm back to my day job here in Seattle. So I know about being busy. I run a spiritual practice. I work here at Inner Alchemy as a practitioner. I've got events coming up. I run 2 companies, a first aid company, first aid CPR AED company called CPR Services Northwest. I run my spiritual practice, the Intuitive Prospector. I run a radio show called Inspired Living Radio. I run this show every Monday morning. And that's not including my day job where I work for part-time for the federal government doing healthcare inspections. So I get being busy. And for me, it's even as I get older, it's more important just to take the time to disconnect so I can make the time to reconnect. So today's inspirational message for the week is just think about, it's okay to have time without purpose. Not everything has to have a purpose, and sometimes just sitting with that can really open up your spiritual journey, your spiritual path, and help you discover what you are looking for. I always say spiritual prospecting for your own spiritual goal, because for everybody it's different. Everybody's in a different place. Everybody's unique. Everybody's authentic. And my job is just as a teacher, as a guide, as an inspirational thought leader, is to just get you thinking outside that box, bigger than yourselves. So today's crystal, I like to give book recommendations of books that I'm reading. A crystal for the week to help you with your journey. Again, if you want to share out, please do so. If you haven't subscribed to this page, please share, like, subscribe, get your top fan badge. for the page. You can also subscribe to my YouTube channel, which the link is in the playlist, or the link to the playlist is in the description of this video. So this will be premiering over on my YouTube channel here shortly. So if you want to get on my YouTube channel, a lot more videos, guys. There's about 250 videos, 4 seasons of Inspired Living Radio, some dives and hikes. I just combined 2 words together to create dike. Some spiritual hikes, some spiritual dives. I'm working on my latest dive that I just did in Key West, where I dove down to a Coast Guard ship about 120 feet down. Really cool experience. I had a bunch of barracuda above me. The flag below me the currents were so strong it looked like the flag was wavering underwater. So that'll be my latest video. That'll be on my Soul Adventures library. It's called Soul Adventures, and it's just a kind of a video log of my journeys and my experiences, and sharing with you some inspirational messages, and also my podcast where I've had interviews with some amazing people in many different topics. So make sure to get on that YouTube playlist. Make sure to get your top fan badge here for the Intuitive Prospector. Make sure to like the page and share out if you haven't already. For this month, I've reached out to the person who won in June. So we'll be doing a free 30-minute reading for her. And for those that share out, those that help contribute to the page, those that want to join my prospecting team as administrators for the page to help me, because I'm a one-man show, to be honest with you, and I know a few of you have offered to be assistants, where you'll get some free readings, you'll get some free classes. So if you're interested in learning more about that, just send me a private message and share out, because it's a grassroots. I don't market the show a lot, and I like to keep the show smaller. So there's about 26 people hanging out with me this morning, so good morning to you. Grab your coffee, grab your tea. This is Metaphysical Mocha Mondays, where I'm here every Monday morning at 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 3 p.m. 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I've still got my radio show on my brain, because I'm going to be broadcasting the Awakened Man series on my podcast series this week and next week, part 1 and part 2, about the Awakened Man, and what, for those guys out there, what the Awakened Man looks like in today's modern society. So that'll be a Wednesday through the internet, called Inspired Living Radio, at 12 p.m. Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern, and I'll be it's a live show and then goes to podcast, but it's going to be the Awakened Man series, something I did last month in June here at Inner Alchemy. So I am here at Inner Alchemy in West Seattle. This is a place where I do some readings. I do mediumship events. I'll have a mediumship event here just in a few weeks on July 21st, which we're calling Sundays with Spirit, Reunions of Life After Death. So if you want to get tickets to this event, we also have another event August 11th, and I'll also be in Spokane in August doing a Spirit with Spirits, which is an outdoor event, glass of wine, mediumship readings, spiritual conversations. So that's coming up, and then I'll also be up in Canada in early August doing some DEMS up north at a Love of Every Kind, and also at a spiritual church up north from here in early August. So you get all this information at your one-stop shop. Go to marclainhart.com, internet search the Intuitive Prospector. Best way to get a hold of me, schedule a reading, check out my shows, check out my latest articles. You can also catch me on Alexa. Just asked to open up Ariel's Positive Living, and I just recorded, so you should be able to start hearing my voice with my spiritual daily tips, if that's of interest to you. The crystal for this week, the crystal, I'm going back to my very first crystal that I was ever given. This was given to me at the Omega Institute by a colleague of mine, a friend of mine, who said, Mark, you should really meditate with crystals. And I'm like, I don't know, I'm not really into this whole woo-woo stuff, and this is when my spiritual journey just began back in when I really started to step out. So 2012 is really when I started to really investigate, is mediumship real, is psychic real, is metaphysics real, and it's pseudoscience. You can't prove it, but you can't disprove it either. It's more of a feeling and emotion. And when I went to the Omega Institute in upstate New York, I sat with my very first crystal, which this is right here. Very powerful. You can kind of see how it's got the glitter in it, but it's called kyanite. So this is kyanite. And the kyanite is, it's readily available. It usually comes out of Brazil. That's usually where it's sourced from. But it's excellent for attunement and meditations. It's a tranquilizing, powerful effect. When you just hold on to it, it gets really hot. And it actually has a high frequency of energy. It stimulates the psychic abilities and your intuition. And it's called kyanite. And this morning I just felt called before I came here to the store. I'm here at Inner Alchemy in West Seattle. broadcasting live, which I'm going to try to do once a month. Kind of mix things up. I like to mix things up. You know, if you're in my spiritual development group, you'll hear me say all the time, get comfortable being uncomfortable. So I brought my first crystal I ever got, and this is called kyanite, and it's an intuitive stone for psychic abilities, great for meditation. So if you want to check that out, check this stone out. And again, kyanite. The totem animal spirit for this week is something it's pretty common to everybody, but it's the hummingbird. And the reason I'm saying the hummingbird is because while I was at home this week doing Staycation 2019, again, today's message is time without purpose. I'm just sitting there in my recliner, and I haven't seen a hummingbird all season, and all of a sudden this one hummingbird, beautiful green color, kept coming up to our fountain, kept coming up to the window, kept coming up. It wasn't even eating from the hummingbird feeder. It was drinking the water. And it was just a reminder to move into that moment, to, you know, not have any purpose and just watch this hummingbird. And it was relaxing. So your totem animal spirit for this week of inspiration is the hummingbird. And when the hummingbird shows up for you, I'll just kind of give you some messages. Where you at, hummingbird? Where you at, hummingbird? There we go. When the hummingbird shows up, it's just a reminder to be flexible with the twists and turns of your life and that will take place in the next few days. So I guess the hummingbird was telling me there's going to be some twists and turns, which that's the life path, right? Life is never a straight line, guys. The many roads of life is always a spiritual path, which we call the spiral, the spiritual spiral. Things that we resist persist. The lesson repeats until it completes. Some people call it karmic energy. I just say karma is just a series of teachable moments. It doesn't have to be anything bad. I always say, you know, always focus on the good that's coming your way. But the hummingbird is talking about putting emotional sweetness back in your life. And that's what I did this week. I put the emotional sweetness back in my life. I put the emotional sweetness back in my energy and my journey because I took Staycation 2019, and I really just took my time this last week to have no purpose. Just sat in the moment. It helped me to plan ahead for my planning and passions and purposes I have in the weeks ahead and the months ahead if I get there, but there's no guarantee that I'll even get there. So, kyanite's your crystal, your hummingbird's your totem animal spirit for this week. I'm reading 2 books right now. I usually read about a book a week because I'm in the radio business as well, radio shows and podcasts. So I get a lot of books and a lot of requests. The one book that I'm always coming back to. So this is a cool book. This is called The History of Spiritualism. So for those of you that may know this gentleman, his name is Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. This is volume 1. There's 2 volumes, so it's pretty intense read. Pretty easy read, though. You can see it's pretty easy read. But you know him from Sherlock Holmes. He was a spiritualist, and so I've been kind of into this book off and on, just reading certain. It talks about the careers of the Fox sisters. It talks about the Hydesville Rappings, where Hydesville Rappings in 1849 is where spiritual, intelligent communications with an unseen world started to happen, and connecting to those, being a voice for the voiceless, I guess, is how some people would describe that. And so that's a great book if you're into spiritualism, you want to learn more about what spiritualism is. Again, for me, spiritualism is not a religion. It's literally following your own message for your own journey. Because at the end of the day, you come in this world alone, so shall you return. You're surrounded by those that support you and love you, but it really is 100% your responsibility for your life, your journey, and your actions and your choices. The other book that I'm reading is called The Untethered Soul. This book is from Michael Singer, and this book is really about who are you really. A lot of us that go into this spiritual journey, the surrendering of our ego, the vulnerability of stepping into something bigger than ourselves and identifying and acknowledging that there's something bigger than ourselves, whether we call it God, whether we call it Gaia, Mother Earth, I don't know. I do know from my near-death experience and my out-of-body experience, because I've had 2, that there is something that's on the other side of this physical energy, this physical flesh suit. That I do know. A peace and a love that I've never felt when I was in my river accident, when I was in a coma as a 5-year-old child, walking with the shadow people, as I call them. So this book is called The Untethered Soul, The Journey Beyond Yourself. Just a book that I'm kind of perusing. But it's about what would it be like to be free from limitations and soar beyond your boundaries. So those are the 2 book recommendations for this week. You can check those out. Hopefully one day you'll check out my book that I'm slowly writing, slowly writing, but I'm working on it. And again, for all the upcoming events, I've got a Forest Friday hike coming up where we're going to be doing a treasure hunt here in West Seattle, just down the way, called Camp Long. That's on July 19th, so check that out. There's going to be spiritual swag hidden. There's going to be a treasure hunt. There's going to be a meditation, some Qigong. That's here with Inner Alchemy as well. Mari and myself will be doing that Friday, July 19th, so make sure to check that out. It's a lot of fun if you haven't done a Forest Friday spiritual hikes for the soul is what we call them, and there will be a treasure hunt this month, so it's going to be a lot of fun here in West Seattle. So again, I'm here at Inner Alchemy, broadcasting from the community room. I'm going to get ready for the Prospecting Q&A after show because I was a few minutes late getting started, so I'm a few minutes late over. But if you guys want to stick around, this show ends and premieres over on my YouTube channel, and then I'll be back here in about 1 minute, hopefully, if I can get the technology to be okay. I'll be back here in about 30 seconds to a minute, so hang tight. It's the Prospecting Q&A after show, and this is the show where I have a direct conversation with all the cool spiritual prospectors that hang out with me every Monday morning. And you're going to want to check this out because I have a special announcement on the Prospecting Q&A after show where I'm going to be opening up some cool things, some giveaways, and also talking a little bit more about what I have planned in the months ahead. So come back for the Prospecting Q&A after show. Again, my name is Marc Lainhart. Thank you so much for hanging out with me this morning. Today's topic is time without purpose. Just a reminder to take the time to disconnect so you can make time to reconnect. And that's very, very important for the spiritual pathway because what you have is today, and I always say carpe diem the crap out of today. Again, if you want to work with me and do a little bit more spiritual prospecting and go deeper to find your own spiritual gold, you can visit me at marclainhart.com. You can internet search the Intuitive Prospector. You can just type my name in, Marc Lainhart. I should come up. And I hope you have a great rest of your day. And again, stick around. We'll be back here in about 30 seconds. For the Prospecting Q&A after show. And until our next soul adventure together, be kind, be caring, be compassionate. I'll see you next Monday at 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time for another episode of Metaphysical Mocha Mondays. And I should be back in my studio and I'll have another announcement. So come back for the Prospecting Q&A after show. We'll talk to you then. Have a great rest of your day. Namaste.